Hey friends, it's Megan. It's the beginning of a new month. Happy August 2014. And so it's time to take a look back at the names that celebrities gave their little ones the previous month. So these are all jumbled up. They're not in birth order, but let's go ahead and jump in. First up, Jimmy Kimmel and Molly McNearney welcomed their first child together, a little girl named Jane. Jane is an English name. It means God's gracious gift. It's currently number 355 in popularity here in the US. I love the name Jane, especially as a first name. I think it has so many wonderful literary ties, and it just has a sweet, very classic sound that I love, and I think it's time that we all just go ahead and shed that plain Jane stigma. And Jimmy has two older children from previous marriage. Their names are Kevin and Kayte. So altogether his children then are Kevin, Kayte, and Jane. I always like to look at the full sib set if I know the other kids' names. Next up, Kerri Strug and Robert Fischer welcomed daughter together named Alayna Madaleine. And Alayna is the English variation of Alan, meaning little rock. It could also possibly stem from Elaine, meaning bright, shining one. There are so many different spelling variations of Elena and Alayna, and it's currently number 206 with this spelling here in the United States, and she joins older brother Tyler William, so together their children are Tyler and Alayna. Then Courtney Hansen and Jay Hartington welcomed a daughter named Holland Marysia Walker. And Holland, of course, is a Dutch place name, and the name Holland actually means woodland or wooded land. I grew up with a girl named Holland. She was in my Girl Scout troop with me. She never went by the nickname Holly, although you can definitely get that nickname out of Holland. Then Gina Glocksen and Ruzicka welcomed a daughter named Daenerys Josephine. So Game of Thrones fans will recognize this name. It's a literary invented name from George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. Then Justin Moore and Kate Moore welcomed their third child together, their third daughter together, named Rebecca Klein. Rebecca is a Hebrew name that means servant of God. It's currently number 178 in popularity. A very familiar, wholesome, biblical sounding name. It is slowly slipping in popularity a bit, and she joins older sisters Kennedy Faye and Ella Kole. So together their daughters then are Kennedy, Ella, and little Rebecca. Next up, Jenni Farley, better known as JWoww, and Roger Matthews welcomed a daughter named Meilani Alexandra. It's a variation of Meilani, meaning dark, and it looks a lot like Leilani, the Hawaiian name, but I couldn't find any concrete information that this name was a Hawaiian name. If you know more about this name, please leave it down in the comments below. Then Kelsey and Kate Grammer welcomed their second child together, a son named Kelsey Gabriel Elias, and he is to go by the name Gabriel. So Gabriel and Elias are actually two names I adore. They're both in my top 10 personal names for boys. But I thought I would talk about both of his names, Kelsey, which is his father's name, of course, and then Gabriel, the name that they plan to call him. So Kelsey's an English name. It means island. It started off as a male name, no longer the top 1,000 for men in this country. But for girls, Kelsey's number 306, so that's kind of interesting. And then Gabriel is pretty popular. It's number 24 in the US. It's Hebrew and it means God is my strength. And they also have a daughter together named Faith Evangeline Elisa. And Kelsey has children from previous relationships, and their names are Spencer, who's a daughter, Greer, who's a daughter, Mason, who is a daughter, and Jude, who is a son. I just say that because some of them you might assume are like Mason and Spencer. I don't know if I would think those were girls. So, but all together, his children are Spencer, Greer, Mason, Jude, Faith, and little Gabriel. Then Alan Rock and Muriel Enos welcomed a son together named Larkin Zooey. And Larkin is an Irish surname that actually means fierce. It's kind of a fun meaning. I think a lot of people would like the name Larkin if they knew about it. It kind of sounds like it's on trend to me, and I don't mean that in a negative way, just that's what it sounds like. And he joins older sister Vesper Vivian. So they're definitely brave namers, huh? Their kids are Vesper and Larkin. Then we have Sunnery James and Doutzen Cruz, the model. They welcomed a daughter together named Meilani May. I couldn't find a lot of concrete information on this name either. I just found clips of people pronouncing it, and it sounded similar to Meilani, although my accent does not do the name justice. And she joins older brother Philin Joy. So together they have Philin and Meilani. Definitely, please, 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 if you have concrete information, like good sourced information, or it's in a book on the name Meilani, please comment that below so that I can add a little annotation in somewhere. Then Amy Lee and Josh Hartzler welcomed a son named Jack Lyon. Lyon, I think, is such a fun middle name choice. Jack is pretty common. It's a diminutive of the name John. It's English, and it means God is gracious, and it's currently number 40 here in the United States. Next up, Scott Kane and Casey Bixby welcomed a daughter together named Josie James. I am seeing more and more girls with the middle name James lately. What do you think of that? I know some of you love it, some of you don't love it so much. Okay, but Josie is a diminutive of the name Josephine, meaning Jehovah increases, and it is currently number 265 in popularity. And the last little one on our list was born to Eric Benet and Manuela Testoloni, and they had a little girl together named Amora Luna. I love Luna. I think that is so, so cute, especially in the middle name spot. Oh, adorable. Amora comes from the French word amour, meaning love, and they have a daughter together, another daughter together, and so she has an older sister named Lucia Bella. And then Eric has a daughter from a previous relationship named India. So all together, his daughters then are India, Lucia, and Amora. Okay, now the fun part. We get to pick our favorites of the names that I just mentioned. So the girls' names that I talked about were Jane, Alayna, Holland, Daenerys, Rebecca, Meilani, Miliana, Josie, and Amora. Quite the range in that list, huh? So my favorite is just Jane. I know it's simple, but I love the classics. I can't help it. Comment below and let me know your favorite. As for the boys list, I'm going to include Kelsey, Gabriel as separate. So we had Kelsey, Gabriel, Larkin, and Jack. My favorite is Gabriel. Again, I had to pick the classic. I think Jack is pretty nice too, but I just love Gabriel since I can remember loving names. So like I said, I'd love to hear what you think of any of these names in the comments below. Thank you guys so, so much for watching. I look forward to reading about your favorites of these soon, and I will talk to you soon for the next video. Bye-bye.